Today, we're going to count down the margin in each state in the 1992 presidential election. As always, we'll go from the widest to the narrowest. But first, let's get a quick refresher. 92 was Bill Clinton defeating incumbent George H.W. Bush, the first win for the Dems since 1976. Clinton had a decisive electoral college win with 370 electoral votes. He carried 32 states plus D.C. Nationally, that was worth a plurality, 43% of the vote. Bush took the loss. He got 168 electoral votes out of 18 states, and that was worth 37.5%. It was a three-way race in this election. Ross Perot didn't win any states, but he did get 18.9% of the popular vote nationally. Some people say he cost Bush the election. Others say he would have lost anyway. But Perot's top state was Maine, where he got more than 30% of the vote. His second best was Alaska. And the only two places he got under 10% were D.C. and Mississippi. So Clinton's margin over Bush nationally was 5.5%. We'll see how that margin along with Perot translates down into each state. So try to keep all those margins in mind as we go back to the map. And this is the 92 electoral map, and we are going to use some shading here, but the margin is just going to be between Clinton and Bush. In Maine, Perot actually finished just ahead of Bush, and in Utah, he finished ahead of Clinton. But this is going to focus just on the two major parties. The shading for the margins is going to be 10% or more are the darkest colors. The very lightest colors are under 1%. So 4 levels of shading. So let's start counting them down. Number 56 out of 56, including the districts. The widest margin in the country is, of course, going to be Washington, D.C. Clinton won that by more than 75%. The widest margin for Bush is in Nebraska's 3rd congressional district. He was able to win that by more than 26 points, and that was actually another one where Perot finished ahead of Clinton. Now, the widest margin in any state, that's going to be in Utah. Again, between Clinton and Bush, the margin was 18.7. The widest state for Clinton is Massachusetts. He got that by 18.5. Then we could plug in neighboring Rhode Island. Then we've got Clinton's home state. Today, Arkansas is red, but back then, Clinton won it by almost 18%. Still over 17% for Clinton. We've got Nebraska at large, under 16% now. Let's go back into the Northeast. We've got New York, and then it's Vermont. Then another district for Bush. It's Nebraska's 2nd. Now we're going under 15%. Over 14, we've got Illinois, and then it's Maryland for Clinton. Under 14, we've got a Bush state. That's Idaho. Continuing the count, we've got a couple more blue states. On the West Coast, over 13%. It's California. Then back east, we've got West Virginia. Clinton did win that by 13%. Another red state for Bush, it's North Dakota. Now we've got more blue states, between 11 and 12% for Clinton. From widest to narrowest, it's Minnesota, then Washington, then Hawaii, then another district for Bush. It's Nebraska's 1st. The last state over a 10% safe margin goes toward Clinton, and that was Missouri. Now, just a hair under 10% at a likely margin is on the West Coast for Clinton. It's Oregon. A little bit narrower for Bush. It's Alaska. Still over 9% for Clinton. It's Pennsylvania. Then in the deep south for Bush, it's Mississippi. Then we've got Maine 2nd. Then number 30 for Bush at 8.7, it's Oklahoma. Just under that for Clinton, it's New Mexico. Another fraction under that, we've got Maine at large for Clinton. Staying in the Northeast for Clinton, it's Delaware. Then we'll plug in the last district in Maine. That's the 1st. Then let's do one for Bush. We've got South Carolina at 8.1. Number 24 goes to Clinton, and that's Michigan at 7.4. At 6.8 for Bush, it's Alabama. A little narrower. We're back in the Northeast. It's Connecticut for Clinton. Back on the other side for Bush, it's Indiana. Then at 6%, we've got Iowa for Clinton. Then a couple of Bush states. It's Wyoming and Kansas. Those are the last ones over a 5% margin. Next is the home state of Bush's running mate. That's Al Gore. He's from Tennessee, and he won that by 4.7. A tenth of a point under that, we've got Louisiana for Clinton. Slightly narrower for Bush. On the East Coast, it's Virginia. Back into the Rust Belt for Clinton, it's Wisconsin. Over 4%, we've got Colorado for Clinton. Now we're at about 3.5%. We've got a couple of Bush states. First is South Dakota. Then it's his home state plus the home state of Ross Perot. That's Texas. Now we're into the top 10. We've got Kentucky going for Clinton by 3.3. Also for Clinton is number 9. It's Nevada at 2.7. Then Montana at 2.5. Then on the East Coast, it's New Jersey at 2.4. Number 6 at an even 2% goes toward Bush. That's Arizona. Now we're into the top 5 at under 2%. It's way into the southeast. It's Florida at 1.9 for Bush. Number 4 is 1.8. It goes toward Clinton, and that's Ohio. Number 3 is the last state in the northeast. It's New Hampshire. It was won by Clinton by 1.2%. Now we've got a couple of tilt margins, under 1%, the last 2 states. Number 2 is North Carolina. Bush won it by 0.7%. And that leaves was number one, the narrowest margin out of every state. It was won by Clinton. You're looking right at it. It's Georgia. 0.6% was the margin. So that's the countdown. Clearly a decisive win here for Clinton in the Electoral College. We'll never really know what would have happened if it was just Clinton against Bush and no Ross Perot. Perot was definitely a factor nationally and certainly had more impact in some states than others. But the country was in the mood for some change, and they were done with Bush after one term. Clinton clearly did well in a lot of the South, including his home state of Arkansas. He was even able to capture Montana and West Virginia. But a lot of these margins were just way, way narrower because it was a three-way race. You've got Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Colorado, Kentucky, and some examples where the margin was under 5%. So this is not at all like the map today, where we've got a lot of states that are at 15, 20, 25-point margins. However, there are a few similarities to today's map. Some states are really close or just a couple of points away from how they vote right now. You might point to Alaska, New Mexico, but certainly in Georgia, it stayed very, very close, just like it is today. Some states have undergone complete political transformations, like West Virginia, Virginia, Ohio, Missouri, or even Iowa. A lot of these states got way redder or way bluer, but again, some of them were similar, and others discovered a new political ideology. It's a totally different era in politics, but if you wanted to know the margin in each state, this is the countdown for the 1992 presidential election. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about any of the states on this map? Why is South Dakota lighter red? Why is New Jersey lighter blue? What would have happened without Ross Perot? What stands out to you on this map? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.